As a historian of ancient times, I just love it when new inscriptions are discovered, or when ones already discovered begin to be deciphered. Some fabulous finds were made over the past 12 months or so, and I want to share some of them with you. I hope you're as excited about them as I am. Here are my top 10 newly unveiled inscriptions of the past year. Indian graffiti in the Valley of the Kings. Yeah, graffiti found in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt has revealed that people from India visited there in ancient times. Nearly 30 inscriptions have been found inside 6 different tombs, all written in Indian languages. Greek graffiti is common there. These are well documented. But to find that people came to the valley from India is a bit of a surprise. Now, we already knew about Indian merchants coming to Egyptian ports on the Red Sea. At the site of Berenike, a stone slab with a Sanskrit inscription dating to the 3rd century of the Christian era had been found. It refers to the 6th year of the Roman Emperor Philip the Arab, which would be the year 248, 249. And there are associated finds at that site, such as images of the Buddha and Vishnu. But the graffiti in the Valley of the Kings is slightly earlier, between the 1st and 3rd centuries CE, the early Roman imperial period. 20 of the inscriptions are in Tamil, and others are written in Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Gandhari Kharoshthi. Why did no one notice these before? They might have, but didn't know what they were. It took an expert in the languages to make sense of them. Interestingly, one Indian traveler, a man named Sikai Koran, scratched his name 8 times in 5 tombs. One instance is about 16 to 20 feet off the ground, and they aren't even sure how he got up there. Another fellow, named Indranandan, who wrote in Sanskrit, says he was a servant of the Kshaharata dynasty of western India, which would place him in the 1st century. Another inscription seems to be interacting with an inscription written by a Greek. Were they friends? Anyway, it is likely that more such inscriptions will be found. The Warpalawa Inscription. This story is about an inscription we have had for years, but which was just deciphered. It was found at Ivri's Spring in Turkey, where the wonderful Ivri's rock relief can be found. I had a chance to visit the place back in 2023. The image you see is of Warpalawas II, or Warpalawa, who ruled the kingdom of Tuwana in the late 8th century BCE. Well, a broken stela of Warpalawas also had been found at this site, with Luwian hieroglyphs on it. But because of its condition, it had not been fully translated, until now. It contains the usual boasts common for kings, but it also gives us information about his family that we had not known before. We find his father's name, Muaharani, and the ending of his mother's name, Walati. His grandfather's name is Saruwani. More importantly, we also get the name of the spring itself, which we didn't know, Shalusha. In their own records, the Hittites previously had made reference to a region called Shalusha, and scholars thought it might be around here somewhere, but now we know. The stela is also bilingual. It has a Phoenician inscription on it as well. This story illustrates well how new inscriptions, even when fragmentary, can reveal important historical information to us and make the ancient world a little bit clearer. The Samuha Archive. Archaeologists working at the site of Kayalapanar in Turkey have discovered 56 cuneiform tablets and 22 seal impressions this past year. They date to the late Bronze Age, which puts them in the period of the Hittite Empire. Many of them are unbroken. They're small, just about 2.5 centimeters by 1.5 centimeters, but they contain information that reveal a lot about the political structure, state practices, and religious beliefs of the time. Samuha was indeed an important administrative and religious center of the Hittites. The tablets are still being studied, but a good number of them have to do with bird divination, one of the 3 main forms of divination used by the Hittite government to determine what was going to happen in the future. The seal impressions contain the names of Hittite officials, including princes and princesses, such as the son of Tuchalia IV. That would put it in the 13th century BCE. The archaeologists working at the site believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg, as this set of texts may indicate a much larger archive on site, which they hope to find. Epigraphers uncover 6th century Maya queen. Mexican and U.S. scholars have identified a powerful woman who ruled the major Maya city of Coba in the 6th century CE, marking a rare confirmation of female royal authority in classic Maya politics. The breakthrough came from detailed analysis of a newly conserved monument known as the Foundation Rock, a large limestone slab found in 2024 beside a natural water reservoir in Koba. It's not in the best shape, but epigraphers made the discovery when conservation work revealed hieroglyphic texts giving us information about the city's dynastic history. More than one female ruler is named in it, but most importantly, it speaks of a woman named Ish-Cha'ak-Che'en and linked her to key events. The inscription describes the conferring of the prestigious Kalumte royal title upon her at a place called Kawitznal, presumably in the city, on a date corresponding to May 12th, 569 in our calendar. She's also tied to construction projects, including a ball court, and she appears on earlier known monuments, but we didn't know who that was before. And slight variations of her name occur across the monuments, but we know they refer to the same ruler based on matching dates and context. The texts show Ish-Cha'ak-Che'en actively shaped the city's landscape and dynastic identity. The finding is significant because female Maya rulers are relatively rare in the epigraphic record, and it also fills gaps in Koba's early dynastic history and hints at possible alliances with powerful neighbors like the Kanul kingdom. New inscription identifies legendary Western Zhou capital. Chinese archaeologists have uncovered compelling new evidence at the Zhouyuan site in Shanxi province that strengthens the identification of the location as Shigui, the legendary early capital associated with King Wen of Zhou and the origins of the Western Zhou dynasty. The city's northwest gate has been excavated, and 53 inscribed oracle bones bearing direct references to royal activities have been found there. The gate is the largest and most sophisticated city gate, remains discovered from the Shangzhou period. We're talking about the 2nd millennium BCE. And the 53 pieces of oracle bones were recovered from a moat ditch outside the city's south wall. These bones, deliberately broken and discarded into what appears to have been a garbage pit, yielded over 80 identifiable characters. One standout fragment bears a rare combined Wen-Wang inscription, where the characters for Wen and Wang are fused into a single glyph. What's so great about that? This is the honorary name of King Ji Chang, the founder of the Zhou dynasty, who ruled from around 1100 to 1050 BCE. This marks the first direct textual evidence of this revered founder figure who laid the groundwork for the Zhou conquest of the Shang dynasty. For decades, scholars debated whether this site, Zhouyuan, was truly the political and ritual heart of the early Western Zhou state, and the Shigui described in ancient texts. Previous excavations had revealed large pre-Zhou building foundations and triple city walls from the Western Zhou period, but lacked conclusive textual links. The new inscribed oracle bones provide direct written evidence of royal presence and ritual activities of this very king in the palace precinct. His name on the oracle bones suggests he performed divination rites on site. This discovery not only solidifies Zhouyuan's status as the early Western Zhou capital, but also illuminates the administrative practices of this foundational dynasty and lends some credibility to the historical reliability of classical texts. Cryptic B Deciphered. More than 70 years after the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, a Dutch scholar has solved another mystery of the ancient Qumran library, the undeciphered Cryptic B script. Cryptic scripts appear in a handful of the roughly 900 scrolls found in caves near the Dead Sea in the 1940s and 50s. Cryptic A, a substitution cipher based on Hebrew, was cracked in 1955. Cryptic B, however, resisted every attempt. With only 2 small manuscripts and a few dozen fragments, the script lacked enough material for traditional code breaking. Its signs, some resembling Paleo-Hebrew, Phoenician, or Greek letters, others modified Aramaic script, formed an apparently unique alphabet. The cipher was cracked by combining rigorous paleography and statistical pattern matching against the Hebrew Bible and Qumran corpus. Using modified decryption software and iterative testing, a monographic substitution cipher was found. Each letter in the Hebrew alphabet maps to one cryptic sign, with minor variations between the 2 manuscripts. Admittedly, the newly readable texts are not the explosive revelation some people once hoped for. Instead, they echo familiar biblical and eschatological themes found throughout the scrolls. As one scholar noted after the decipherment of Cryptic A, secrets are usually more exciting before they're found out. But deciphering the script does remove one of the last barriers to full textual analysis of the Qumran library and sheds more light on how the community used cryptography. Scholars now see Cryptic B not as a way to conceal information, but as a scribal practice that conferred prestige on those who used it. With only these 2 manuscripts available, verification remains challenging, so the decipherment can't be said to be 100% certain, but it is very plausible. Vesuvius Challenge races forward. Maybe you've heard of the Vesuvius Challenge. Over the past couple of years, it has transformed from an AI competition into a rapidly accelerating scientific pipeline, revealing sections of previously unreadable scrolls, carbonized by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in the year 79 CE. What began with the 2024 Grand Prize, a win of $700,000 for reading 2,000 Greek letters, has now delivered some other revelations. In May 2025, researchers scanning scroll PHERC 172 at the UK's Diamond Synchrotron used high-resolution X-rays and AI virtual unwrapping to identify that scroll's author and title for the first time. Philodemus's philosophical treatise On Vices, an Epicurean work on topics including disgust, arrogance, and flattery. The discovery, which earned Sean Johnston of the Vesuvius Challenge team and collaborators Marcel Roth and Mika Novak a $60,000 first title prize, marked the first time ink was directly visible in X-ray data. By December 2025, the team announced a breakthrough on scroll PHERC 1667. After nearly 2 years of failed attempts at 8-micron resolution, a new 2.4-micron scan at the European Synchrotron radiation facility in Grenoble finally produced visible letters, 5 to 6 millimeters high. Progress accelerated again in January 2026. Roughly 70% of PHERC 172, the Philodemus scroll I mentioned, was digitally unwrapped using the automated VC3D pipeline, extracting surfaces more than 10 times faster than manual methods used in 2023. Ink detection revealed column fragments and occasional letters, though the upper 30% remains too compressed for current tools. The pace is really picking up. What once required painstaking manual labor is now largely automated, opening the vast Herculaneum library, likely owned by Julius Caesar's father-in-law, to systematic reading for the first time. With dozens more scrolls queued up for scanning and AI tools improving weekly, the next year promises some actual coherent paragraphs, not just isolated letters. For the first time in 2 millennia, the voices of the ancient villa's library are beginning to speak again. Hymn to Babylon. A scholar working at digitizing cuneiform texts for the electronic Babylonian library platform has been able to piece together, by means of AI, fragments from some 20 texts to reconstruct a famous hymn that was studied in ancient Babylonian scribal schools. To be clear, these are tablets that we already had, but which had never been linked before. The 20 texts range in date between the 7th and 1st century BCE. The hymn extols the city of Babylon and its patron god Marduk, and apparently was one of the great works of the time. Authorship of the hymn is estimated to have occurred sometime between maybe 1000 and 700 BCE. Let me read for you an excerpt to give you a taste of it. Like the sea, Babylon proffers her yield. Like a garden of fruit, she flourishes in her charms. Like a wave, her swell brings her bounties rolling in. Marduk's star, delightful, precious sun, is her auspicious sign. Wherever the sun is her gate, the distant heavens. Imgur Enlil is her primeval wall. The mountain of the just Alulu is her king, the father of all generations. The Euphrates is her river, established by wise Lord Nudimud. It quenches the lee, saturates the canebrake, disgorges its waters into lagoon and sea. Its fields burgeon with herbs and flowers. Its meadows in brilliant bloom sprout barley, from which gathered sheaves are stacked. Herds and flocks lie on verdant pastures. Wealth and splendor, what befit mankind, are bestowed, multiplied, and regally granted. Now there are still missing parts here and there because the tablets have taken some damage, but most of the hymn, which is rather long, we've got. So this is a huge accomplishment. One wonders how many more great works of ancient literature can be pieced together this way. The Idrimi Dynasty Archive. Alalakh, was an ancient city-state located in what is now southern Turkey near the Syrian border, close to the Mediterranean, that flourished in the Middle and Late Bronze Ages. Idrimi was one of its most famous kings. He ruled in the 1400s BCE. At that time, Al-Alak was a vassal of the great state of Mitanni. Well, archaeologists have just unearthed a large archive of texts from that time. Dozens of cuneiform tablets which appear to come from an office complex responsible for managing trade routes between northern Syria and Anatolia on behalf of the government. Considering the fact that we have not yet discovered an actual archive of texts from the central government of Mitanni itself, to find texts from one of its vassals having to do with government affairs, which can shed light on its interactions with its overlord, well, this is an exciting find. Study of these texts is underway, and they even found a seal impression that mentions a prince of the Hittite kingdom whom we had not known about before. So the prospects here are tantalizing. The Sohag Ostraca. In the latest excavation season at Sohag, the site of the ancient city of Idrimi in Upper Egypt, a horde of 13,000 ostraca have been found by an Egyptian-German team of archaeologists working there. Ostraca, in case you don't know, are broken pieces of pottery with writing on them. People used to use them as writing surfaces, so you'll find things like letters, grocery lists, notes, tax payments, delivery orders, other lists, student writing exercises, anything you want to write down, really, on these ostraca. Even before this, 30,000 ostraca had been discovered at the site, so this brings the total up to 43,000. The oldest are from the 3rd century BCE, when the Macedonians ruled Egypt, and the latest ones are from around the 10th or 11th century during the time of early Arab rule, so they span over 1,000 years. This is a huge archive of material that can now be studied. They will reveal a lot about the daily lives of the people who lived there. For a historian, this is a treasure beyond gold or silver. The ostraca are written in several scripts and languages, but the majority are in Demotic, a cursive form of Egyptian hieroglyphs that was commonly used at the time. The next most common language used is Greek. An international group of specialists based in Paris called Ostraca Detribus are currently working on cataloging all the ostraca and translating them. So there you have them, my picks for the coolest ancient inscriptions discovered or deciphered over the past year or so. Which ones excite you the most? Did I miss any that you think should have been included? Let me know in the comments below the video.
You might like my little e-booklet, Why Ancient History Matters. It's designed to persuade people that the subject is important, even in the modern world. You might also wish to use it to help spread the word. So feel free to share it with someone you know. It's free for anyone who wants it. I've left a link in the description box below the video for you to grab a copy. Catch you later.